Hello and welcome to today's Yoga for Hip Mobility class. Today for this class, all you need for props is your yoga mat. You might need some yoga blocks and a strap depending on how flexible you are. So this is, I'd say, sort of an intermediate level class. So please remember to train within your limitations. All right, let's get started. All right, so we're going to start facing the side. Soft bend in the knees, and we're going to start with a roll down, dropping the head, rolling through each vertebra of our spine until we reach the bottom. Deep bend in the knees, and then slowly rolling up. Checking in with your body, just feeling where you're at today. Nice tall spine at the top, and again rolling down. Begin with the head, keep bending the knees, rolling the spine. Deep bend, contraction, and then again coming up through a nice deep contraction, articulating each vertebra of the spine. And again, down and up. Let's go down for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's do it in 4. Down. 2, 3, 4, and up. 2, 3, 4, and down. 2, 3, 4, and up. 2, 3, 2 more, and down. 2, 3, 4, and up. 2, 3, 4 and down. 2, 3, 4 and up. 2, 3, 4. Changing it slightly, we're now going to arch down and roll up. So with the arch, you throw your head back, arch into the lower back, bend the knees, lead with the heart. The heart drops down first, all the way to the ground. Keep the chin lifted at the bottom. Tuck the head and roll up just as we did before, all the way up to the top. Arching the spine. Heart leads the way. Tuck and roll up. Good. Arching the spine, sticking out the bottom, lifting the chin. Then head tucks and rolls up. And again, arching down, rolling up. Let's do it in 4, 3, 2, 1, and up. 2, 3, 4, and down. 2, 3, 4, and up. 2. Let's do 2 more, and down. 2, 3, 4. Roll up. This is the last one. Arch down. And hold it there. And walk yourself into a downward facing dog. Good. Walk it out. Walk left and right. Twisting at the hips. Just feeling where your body's at this morning. Perhaps this is the first time you're moving your body today. Perhaps it's at the end of a long, busy day. So just feel where you're at and give yourself some love. And let's just rise up and down on the toes. Push the weight backwards into the heels. 3 more. 2, 1. And let's go into a down dog split. So I'm going to bend my right leg at the knee, and I'm going to do nice big hip circles. So I'm drawing a circle with my knee, outward circle or clockwise circle, but I'm actually focusing on my hip joint and making a nice big hip circle in that joint. And change directions anti-clockwise with the knee. So just visualize your knee going around all the numbers of a clock. Don't skip any numbers. Keeping the leg really bent at the knee, but opening the hip as much as you can. 1 more full circle. Hold it at the top, straighten the leg, down dog splits. Push the floor away from you. Even if your heel is not entirely touching the floor and you've got a bent supporting leg, it's fine. Just keep the top leg nice and straight. And now we're going to just rotate those hips into a straddle split, and then back into a down dog split and rotate. So I'm actually thinking about rotating my bottom hip as much as I am my top hip to get that straddle position. You'll have to open up the shoulders towards the ceiling to help you get that position. Last 3, 2, remember to breathe. Last 1, good, and then bend at the knee, stepping forward, lunging between your hands, and we're just going to bend and straighten the back knee. I call this dancer's lunge. So you can be up on 2 yoga blocks underneath your hands if you need them, but we're trying not to have the hips nice and high. Drop those hips nice and low, bend and straighten the back knee. And when I say straighten, I really mean try and straighten. Squeeze the glutes at the back. The more you squeeze the glutes, the more you release the hip flexor in front. Squeeze, straighten that quad. Use those muscles, build strength. This is the strength you need for a side split. So you don't want to let the muscles kind of fake it here. 3 more, 2 more. Last one, and let's push up and down into a triangle. So if your hands are not quite touching the floor, they can be up on blocks. They can even be up on 2 chairs on either side of your yoga mat. Lifting and lowering those hips. 4 more. 3, 2, just warming up here. Last one. Come back into your low lunge and untuck your back toes. We're just going to swivel between a Cossac lunge, which is kind of a straddle with a bent leg, and then rotate back into your low lunge. And again, Cossac or Skandasana, low lunge. Focusing on the hip of the working leg. So rotating from the hip as opposed to the knee, the foot, the ankle, the toe. Good. Last 3, 2, you got this. Last 1. Tucking the toes. And then just coming into a forward fold. Again, you can be up on your yoga blocks if you need to. And we're just going to slide the hips side to side like a typewriter. Focusing on kind of creating space in that hip joint as you slide out, away. Sliding those hips side to side. Creating space. Sending oxygenated blood to those joints. And let's just do some deep side bends. Toes are pointing forward, using my hands on the ground for support. Really good. Good. Last 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it there. Coming to the other side and stepping back into your down dog. And just see how much better this down dog feels. Now that you're a little bit warm, you can start to slightly pulse your heart through your arms, very gentle. Not at all going beyond your maximum range of motion, staying within about 60%. Good. Just to try and get the feeling of weight into the heels instead of over into the hands. So pushing back, lift the hips up to the sky. Hold it there. And then finding your down dog splits, lifting my left leg this time, bending at the knee, and just doing my nice deep hip circles. Good. So this time I feel like I'm going anti-clockwise, outward circles. Keep that bend at the knee. Focusing on the hip joint. Last 2. 1, and change directions. Inward circles or clockwise this time. Good. That's it. Drawing the circle with the knee, but doing work in the hip. Just focus on that ball and socket joint where the femur connects into the hip socket. Going round and round, nice full range of motion. Last 2. Last 1. Good. And then straighten that leg, down dog splits. See where you're at. Remember, the heel can be up off the ground. The supporting leg can be bent. Top leg is straight. And rotating into your straddle split. And again, back into down dog splits. Straddle and down dog. And straddle. Using your shoulders to help you get that rotation. Focusing on supporting leg as well as working leg. Revolving at the hips, not at the knee. Definitely not at the knee, not at the ankle. 2 more. Last 1. And then tucking and bringing it into a lunge position. One hand on either side of you, on yoga blocks if you need to. Bend and straighten that back leg, squeezing the glutes to release the hip flexor. Squeezing the quads, getting that back leg as straight as possible. Breathe. Good. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And up and down triangle. Good. Hands up on blocks or 2 chairs if you need to. Add support. And just feeling where that front hamstring is at. Just going nice and slow at a pace that feels good for you. 3 more. Last 2. Last 1. Good, and stop down in your lunge. I'm just gonna untuck my back toes and swivel into your skandasana and back into your low lunge. Skandasana, low lunge. Swiveling, keeping this back leg as straight as possible and my hips down as low as possible. Really focusing on the working leg, rotating from there. You must keep your working leg straight. If there are small bends in the knee, then you could damage that knee as you do the rotation. So rather come up higher onto your yoga blocks and swivel less, but keep that leg nice and straight. Last 2. Last 1. Good, tucking the toes. Now I'm going to come back into a forward fold, but this time I want my toes pointing out to the side. Remember, you can be up on yoga blocks if you need. And we're just going to swivel the hips side to side like a typewriter. Just as we did, except now we're in more of a straddle position. Slightly different hip placement here. Good. This should feel quite nice. A bit of active rest. 3, 2, 1. Good, and let's just bend side to side, toes facing out this time. Use your hands for support. This is the final movement in our warm-up sequence, and then we go into our hip mobility. Good. 4 more. 3, 2, 1. And just heel toe, and then just sitting down onto your mat. All right, so for this next movement, you might find yourself moving forward. So start really far back, and obviously just keep scooching back as you need to. So we're going to come into a zigzag position. So feet are flexed, 90 degrees in the front leg, 90 in the back leg. Hands are behind you, and we're just opening the hips through a straddle to face the other side. Leaning back onto your hands to support you. Really trying to completely drop that knee down to the floor if you can. And just focusing on this hip mobility as you take your hips through this full range of motion. Going at a comfortable pace, not too slow, but not too fast. Good. And if you feel like you've got this, try and take your hands off the floor. And that will definitely test the hip mobility quite a bit more, as now you have to keep your spine upright. And just remember, as you scooch forward, just keep scooching back. Good. So the tendency is to really rock back and then come upright. You can do that, but as you get more advanced, you want to try and keep that spine upright, even as you face the front in the straddle, and then turn to the side, keeping that spine upright, nice and tall. Good. And now as we straddle, let's think about lengthening our legs and then bend. And again, back into our zigzag, straightening the legs. Small V position, doesn't need to be into a full straddle. And again, straighten those legs and bend. Straighten and bend and straighten and bend. Good. Let's hold it here in our zigzag position, also known as Mermaid, and we're just going to sway up and down over our front leg. Good. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and switch over to the other side and sway. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's do one more each side. Switch over and sway. 2, so coming down nice and low over the front leg, up and down, stretching out that glute. 7, 8, and switch over to the other side and sway. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good. Just switching back. Going back to our changeovers. So we're going into our straddle. We're coming up, and then I want you to use your hands and see if you can rise up. And again, back down, straddle, switch over, and rise up. See if you can use your hands to get that height, get that position. Straddle, switch over, rise up, straddle, rise up. And now if you've got that, see if you can do it without hands. Rise up, sit down, straddle, switch over, rise up, sit down, straddle, switch over, rise up. And now we're going to take out the straddle so that you can move a little quicker. So you're just going to switch over, rise up, switch over, rise up. Good. Really testing the hip mobility here. Also using the glutes, the hamstrings, the adductors. Good. Last one. Switch over and hold it to the side. Just make your way back to your mat. And we're just going to be in our zigzag position, and we're going to alternate by lifting the toes and then the knee, and the toes and the knee. Now try not to lean too far away from your legs. Try and come upright, both hands, fingertips resting equally on the mat as you do this. And you should really feel how it tests the mobility with your weight more centered. Good. Even if you're only lifting either extremity just off the ground, it's absolutely okay. Last 4, 3, 2, last 1. Good. And now we're just going to swing this leg forward and back. And you can really use momentum. You can swish your body forward and back. Don't worry about trying to keep your spine upright. We're just getting some hip mobility going here. Blood flow. I've even got a slight bend in this leg that's swinging. And I'm bringing my body backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards. When that feels good, start to straighten the leg. Good. And if that feels good, start to lift it just off the ground. Try not to touch down if you can. That's it. Starting to work into the glutes. All good. Breathe. Last 3, 2, 1. Good. And now a final challenge is, without swaying the body all over the place, keeping the hands grounded into the mat, can you, either with your toes touching the ground or slightly off the ground, lift that leg? So now I'm trying not to sway my body too much forward and back. So I'm really now working into my glutes and my hip flexors. These muscles will support your joints. So it's very important that they're working properly. Stretch that knee as much as you can. Last 2. And last 1. Good. And come down, and let's switch over to the other side. All right. And coming into your zigzag or mermaid position and keeping your hands equally grounded on the mat. We're lifting the toes and then the knee. The toes and then the knee. Trying not to lean away from the legs, which definitely makes it much easier. You want to try and bring that body upright. Hands equally grounded into the floor. Good. And remember to breathe. Last 4, 3, 2, and last 1. Good. And let's just rond de jambe or swing this leg, keeping it bent, using your body, using momentum, just getting some movement into that hip joint, rocking the leg forward and back. Not worrying too much about anything, just enjoying this movement. That's it. 3 more. 2, 1. And see if you can now straighten the leg. That's it. Toes still on the ground. If you've got a pair of socks on, it will probably feel a bit better. And if this feels good, start to take that foot off the ground. Good. Trying to keep that leg completely straight. Using the glutes, using the hip flexors, glutes and hip flexors, glutes and hip flexors. Last 2 and 1. Good, and then let's try that challenge. So now we are not rocking the body forwards and back, staying nice and upright, bringing that leg out to that 90-90 position and trying to lift that leg nice and slow and control without rocking the body too much. Even if your toes stay on the ground, it's fine. We're just trying to do this with a little bit more control. 2 more. You got it. And last one. Good, and then I'm just gonna swivel to the back so you can see what I'm doing. You're just gonna lie down on your side. Legs are bent 90 degrees. Arms out to the side like aeroplane wings. And we're just gonna take the legs to the center and then over to the side. Keep them at a nice 90-90 angle. Keep the knees together. Keep the ankles squeezing together. Toes can be pointed or flexed, but as long as the ankles are together and knees are together. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Last one, inhale, exhale. And now we're going to open the knees in order to change sides and just kind of cartwheel the legs over. Open, and when you can't keep the other leg on the ground, that's when it lifts off and floats over gently to the other side. So trying to open as wide as you can. Still got bent legs, 90-90 degree angle. Feet are pointed or flexed, but strong and active. Don't just let them kind of flop there like spaghetti. Make sure the feet are strong and activated. Let's add in the arms. Arms, palms touch together. Open out, cartwheel them to the other side. And again, just doing this rolling motion, keeping the head on the ground. The arms match the legs. Just like that, really good. And last one. And now take the arms overhead as you change sides and back to hands, palms together. Overhead. So almost making a rainbow with your arms overhead. This is a dance-based movement, often used in warm-up. Good. I'm just going to scoot a little bit forward. And now we're going to come and sit upright, roll back down, same thing. So using the momentum of your arms overhead to help bring you up to the other side. And now I seem to be going forward, so I'm just going to move backwards. Sitting up, so I'm really pushing off my arms. And if this feels good for you, you can now start to open and straighten the legs into what's known as a fan kick. You can keep them bent if that feels better for you. Good. Oops. Probably need a lot of space for this one. And it should really feel quite nice and fun. We'll do one more. Good, and just hold it there on the side. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to swing the left leg up to the hand and back to center. Swing, back to center. You can keep a bend in the leg that's swinging. And I'm trying to aim to get my leg towards my face. So trying to bring my foot past my hand towards my nose. Good. 2 more. And let's switch sides, change legs. Swing the other leg, back to center. Swing and center. Swing and center. We're going to combine these in just a minute. Last 4, 3, 2, and now we're going to change. So we're swinging the left leg, center, right leg, center, left, center, right, center. And if this feels good, you can start to straighten the legs, straighten them, but in the center coming through bent legs. So this is great for also warming up the lower back. Even at the end of a long day, this would be a really good stretch. It's just something dynamic to loosen up a tight lower back and get a bit of blood flow into a lot of muscles at once. Last 3, 2, 1. And coming through the side into a seated position. And let's come into a butterfly position. All right, so just grabbing hold of the ankles and let's just rock from side to side. Starting to cool down now. Good. Holding it in the middle, face the front. And let's just do some gentle circles over your legs. So think about your rib cage, making circles around your pelvis, and change directions. Just nice and easy. Good. 3 more. 2, 1. Good. And now you're going to bring your pelvis all the way up to your feet. Bring your hands behind you and try and straighten the spine. And as you do that, you should be able to find a little bit more mobility and range by dropping the hips and the knees down towards the mat. Good. Lifting up that heart. I'm going to take my right hand to my right knee. I'm just going to push it down and twist away from it. Inhale. Exhale, twist. And let's change sides. Inhale, left side. Exhale, twist. Inhale. Exhale. Good. And then we're just going to make our diamond a little bit bigger. And let's just scoop forward and up. Rolling down, scooping up, rolling down, scooping up. There we go. Down and up. Rolling down, tuck the chin, then lead with the heart. Last 3. Last 2. Last 1. And let's reverse that. So lifting the chin, leading with the heart, and then tuck and roll up. So it's the same as arching down and rolling up like we did in the beginning. Good. And it should feel quite nice in the spine. Good. Arch down, roll up. Last 2. Last 1. Good. And coming back to a bit of a closer triangle. Pressing elbows against the knees. And trying to lean the spine nice and forward on the side. No more of a rounded spine. We want to kind of push the elbows into the knees to give us leverage to really lengthen our spine. Coming forward. Breathe. Taking the hands back. Push the spine forward even more. Drop the knees open. Leaning forward. And then slowly close around the spine. Hold it there. Arch. Exhale, curl. Inhale, arch. Exhale, curl. Inhale. Exhale. And coming back to neutral. And take a deep breath. Well done. I hope that you enjoyed it and you are feeling that blood flow all throughout your pelvis, your hip sockets, your hip joints, and every feeling is feeling warm and wonderful and loose. So I hope that you enjoyed that workout. Please give this video a thumbs up if you did, and I'll see you in the next workout.